Hi guys, this is Vlad from Ausgeknipst, and in today's video I'm going to show you everything you need to know to use your Minolta X700 series. It's one of the most popular Minolta cameras ever made, and rightfully so. It's easy to use, it's affordable, it has a program mode, and overall a really good camera. Unfortunately, there are some reliability issues due to broken electronics, as with most of the SLRs of this time, but if you get a working copy, it's a really nice camera and also a beautiful looking one, in my opinion. In the video, I'm going to show you what batteries you can use and how to insert them, what lenses to use with the camera, and how to focus and set the aperture correctly, how all the buttons and dials on the camera function, how to look through the viewfinder to set correct exposure and focus, how to load the film in the back of the camera, how to take a photo, and how to rewind and unload your film finally. That was a self-timer. Now let's start with the batteries. What's going on here? That's the beep mode, sorry. I'll get to that later. So now let's get to the batteries. Cool thing is that the Minolta X700 uses modern batteries that you can get in almost any drugstore or supermarket. Those are standard button cell batteries. You need two of those, 1.5 volts each, and I recommend using SR44 ones as they will last you longer. You can also use the even cheaper AG13 or LR44 alkaline batteries. Those are silver oxide batteries. They just will last probably twice as much. Both work fine. Insert two of those into this battery compartment. Plus side goes up, and screw the battery cap back on using a coin, like that, and you are ready to go. Now, let's talk lenses for a second. The X700 uses SR lenses, same as the SRT line, which means it will take the older SR lenses as well as those MD or MC Roker lenses. One thing to notice is, let's remove the lens. To remove it, we need to use this unlock button here at the side. There is an aperture coupling lever here, which needs to move together with the aperture ring of the lens. There is a ridge on the lens here, and when I attach the lens, red dot to red dot, align it and twist it until it locks in place, this little lever needs to move. You can check if your copy's lever is moving, otherwise the camera won't know which aperture I've set on the lens and light meter will be off. So basic lens operations here with an aperture ring dial at the back and a manual focus dial on the front with focus scale in meters and feet. On the front of the camera we have a self-timer here. To use it, press pull it up like this, and now when we turn the camera on, the on-off switch is located here. The camera will will fire after 10 seconds. That's the self-timer here. Like that. You can also use this little self-timer button as a half shutter press, which means that you can just activate the light meter inside the viewfinder by pressing this button, and in order to avoid accidental release of the shutter. You can also activate the light meter by just holding the shutter button here. There is a capacitive layer which will tell the camera that your finger is laying on the shutter button, and this also will activate the light meter inside. Then At the side we have a standard PC sync port for external flashes. We have an aperture step-down lever for a depth of field preview. Let's set the aperture to f16. And now you can step down the lens and look through the viewfinder in order to see what depth of field you will get. This is, as I told you, the unlock button for the lens mount. Then we have a manual and shutter remote, classic mechanical shutter remote port, which is located on this side. As you can see, with most other cameras it's inside the shutter button, but as this is this special capacitive shutter button, they had to move the mechanical remote port to the side. Now, on top of the camera we have an exposure compensation dial, which you can turn by pressing this little black button, unlock it, and adjust your exposure compensation, as well as when pulling up the color of the exposure compensation dial, you set the ISO, which is now set to 100. We have a standard hot shoe here with some contacts for TTL flash use with special Minolta flashes. We have the mode dial here. The camera has an aperture priority mode marked with the orange A, as well as a full program P mode. In order to unlock the mode dial, you have to press this little button here. So now we can either set it to P. Now, camera setting aperture and shutter speed for you, full auto program mode. You need to know that when you want to use the auto mode, you will have to set the lens aperture to the green 16 in this case, depending on the lens. This can be another aperture number, but you need to set it to the green aperture number. Now camera's working in P mode. If I'm setting it to A now, aperture priority, the camera checks what aperture I'm setting and sets the shutter speed accordingly to get correct exposure, or I can use it in a full manual mode. Now I can set shutter speeds from a fast 1/1000th of a second down to a slow 1 second, or use it in bulb mode with a tripod. There is a tripod socket here. The camera has this, a last thing to mention for the controls, the camera has this odd beeper on mode, which will tell you when you're underexposing or overexposing your image. I think it's a little annoying, as you can see. Let me try if I can see. Now it's beeping and telling me that I am underexposing my image. If you want to turn it off, just set it to the on instead. That's the mode dial. And now, before we load the film, let's check the light seals first. Camera has a mirror damper here in the mirror cage, which looks fine on this camera. And let's open the back. To open it, as usual, pull up the rewind lever. We also have some light seals at the hinge of the back door here, and we have those thin seals inside the groove of the camera's back. On this camera, all the seals look pretty good, and the X700 is a pretty modern camera, and they used better foam than with the SRT line, so most of the time you won't have any troubles with light leaks on those cameras. That's a big plus. Now to load the film, let's get some film, some test film that's already exposed. This is a Fomapan 400 ISO 24 exposures film. Before we insert the film, we have to set the ISO to 400, pull up the color around the exposure compensation dial and set it to 400. Now the camera knows what film speed I'm using and is setting the exposure correctly. To load the film, pull up the lever again, the rewind lever, position the canister, pull the film above the shutter without touching the shutter and fill it, the film leader, into the slit of the take-up spool. Now release the shutter and slowly advance the film and check if the leader is catching on the take-up spool. Advance 2 times to make sure that it's loading correctly, and when it looks like this, you're ready to go. You can close the back door and shoot away. Let's attach the lens back on. Now you have a little film counter here, which is broken on this camera. That's also a thing that is a weak spot on the camera, the film counter. You can repair it. You will have to take off the top cover. Did it myself. You need some tools and maybe 20 minutes of time, but it's possible to do it. But it doesn't bother me on that camera. When you've reached the end of the roll, you will feel a resistance, and then you know that you have to rewind the film. But before we rewind the film, I just wanna quickly show you how it looks inside the viewfinder and what information you will get there. So this is how it looks inside the viewfinder. On the right you have a shutter speed info, which will tell you, let me try to lock the exposure, it doesn't focus here as it's having troubles focusing correctly. So on the right you have a shutter speed information, and this will basically tell you what shutter speed the camera is choosing. If I am in the A mode and setting the aperture manually, and camera is setting the shutter speed, as well as if I'm in P mode, then let me set it to P. Now the green light, sorry for the focus hunting, the green light is blinking and camera tells me I'm in P mode and this is the shutter speed I am choosing. Basically that's it for focusing the image. You have this one doesn't have a split prism, you only have this little circle in the inside, and basically you just turn the lens, look through the viewfinder, and you just check if the image is in focus. I guess there are other interchangeable viewfinders with a split focus prism, which will help in focusing, but with this one it's a blank one. You just have to look through it and see when the image is getting sharp. That's for the focusing part. Now let me go back to the top view, and lastly let's rewind the film. Zoom out a little. So to rewind the film, let me advance a couple more times. I just press this little unlock button here at the bottom, pull up the rewind lever here and rotate it in the direction of the arrow clockwise until I don't feel any resistance anymore. I can even feel the film slipping out of the take-up spool. I won't rewind it completely so that I can use it in the next manual. Otherwise you would just turn it a little longer until it's completely inside the canister, and then you're ready to go to drop it off at your favorite lab or develop it yourself. If you have any questions left on how to use the camera or want to have another manual for another camera, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, see you next time.